Hey everybody, it's me, it's Michael B. Thank you so much for joining me once again for another Monday night. And tonight, we're going to have a little fun, or at least we're going to try to, because tonight we're going to talk about AtGames. And we've now seen 4 releases, or 4 different versions of the AtGames Legends 4KP Pinball Collector's Edition, FX Collector's Edition. And I don't think they are what everybody thought they were going to be. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but they're certainly different than I think what a lot of people let their mind carry themselves away with when it was first announced. So tonight we're going to take a look at the 4 versions released so far, take a look at the upcoming version, and talk a little bit about why AtGames is going in that direction instead of moving in the direction that a lot of us thought, maybe hoped they were going to go in. Anyways, we'll talk about that, whatever else is going on in the world of gaming. I'll give you an update on what's going on with my basement arcade that may be starting again, all kinds of fun stuff. Thank you so much for being here. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. Yeah, so we're back to the old view. You guys remember when this show first started? This is how it looked. I've been using Restream for the last little while because it's a program we all chip in on for Super Game Room dudes. Anyways, that has failed me miserably the last couple weeks in terms of my audio, in terms of my mouth moving at different times than my audio. So hopefully tonight, this works a little bit better. We're gone back to basics. I don't have any guests, so we can just have a conversation. And hopefully my internet and my problem don't screw me over. So, oh, don't tell me I've got lip sync issues with OBS again. You guys are screwing with me, right? You gotta be screwing with me. Oh, I am in sync. Thank God, Nooner. Oh my God. Anyways, no, it's very good tonight. Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. So I actually got a message from Stephen Haywood, and Haywood reached out to me and he told me part of my problem that I might be having my lip sync issue is my USB hub may be overloaded. So we'll see how that goes. What? We can deal with it. Console kits, what the hell are you talking about? I am getting warning signs on my OBS over there saying that I don't have a good connection. So you guys are going to have to keep me honest tonight and let me know how the connection goes. Let me get the chat up and say hello to people, see if we can at least get through that before everything gets screwed up. All right, so who do we have here? Oh, thanks, guys. So let's go back to the very beginning. Take a look at who's here. Sulpress was the first person here today. Because they don't want to pay the extra dough, that's why Bally Williams wants Easy Question. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, maybe Arcade 1-Up may have paid the extra dough. That might be the reason. Jason Little Aliens here. Hello, campers. Hope y'all had a very good weekend. Be sure to grab a beverage, and there's nothing I like more than a lovely beverage, and check out tonight's show. Now, I don't have a beverage, but I do have a cup of coffee, so I'm going to be enjoying that. I also just bought some new, fancy coconut oil conditioner, so my hair, in case you haven't noticed, has been an absolute mop. I haven't been able to get in and get it cut recently, and this past week I've had COVID, so my wife wouldn't let me leave the house to go get my hair cut either, and that's probably for the best. So anyways, it's just crazy. I don't know what's going on. I gotta get my hair cut sometime soon. I'm a little bit late because I was just running around panic tonight. I had to get a last minute shower, so I apologize for being late. JJ's here. JJ says, hey, Game Genie, while the new 4K V pins by AtGames are too much money for most home arcade consumers to justify, I do think they do a terrific job of replicating the real thing. Not sure what else they could do. I'm not talking about the pinball tables themselves. I'm talking about specifically the artwork and the look of the table. So a lot of us want that nostalgia factor of not just playing some of these games we remember from our youth or classic pinball machines. We actually want it to look like that too. So that's kind of what the show is going to be talking about. Kai Tam is here. I'm guessing it would be to add extra budget, to add realistic plungers or realistic back boxes. Maybe. I think I'm mostly talking about the art. Sorry guys, still a little bit sick, trying to get over this. Game Room Guru says, a lot of the time on retro games, the art license is held by someone else, so to replicate it increases costs, and in some cases, they aren't even sure who owns it anymore, so it gets complicated. Yeah, very good point. JJ says, real pinballs are problematic and expensive. I'd love to get a running totals, the problems at Michael B, Justin Console Kits, P-Dub, 19K Fox, and other YouTubers having their first year ownership. Oh, it's immense. Trust me. Rushmore is here. All the main players are protecting their IPs and concerned that VP is hurting the real cab sales, especially Stern. Yeah, that's true. And we've got our first super chat of the night. Kevin Clausen says, dang right, Mike. We want answers. Well, I'm going to try to give you answers because it's actually pretty straightforward. It's not as complicated as people might think. Tim York says, well, I have received the first piece of my Addams Family 4KP. The arcade control panel came in yesterday. Having fun staring at it. Yeah, trust me, that's going to be useful when you get it. Scott B's here. I have an arcade control panel, but at the moment it's not working. I have no way to update it. Get in contact with AtGames. I had something similar happen to me as well. Andy's Game Room's here. Good to see you, Andy. Jason, oh yeah, the brand new trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 just dropped. I got to check that out. I mean, like, think about it. It's been like 12 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, a long time ago now. Dan Z's here. Good to see you, Dan. Who else we got in the chat? Carlo, good to see you, brother. I think we already said hello to Andy's Game Room. Galaga Guy 88, nice to see you, Galaga Guy. Steve Ramey, Bill's Retro Gaming Show, nice to see you, Bill. El Capitan, watch the GTA trailer too. It's amazing how good games this gen looks. Yeah. Who else we got here? James Hates Everything. What's up, James? Console Kits. Either Mike is taking a nap or he forgot how to use OBS. No, I was getting a shower and trying to put my kids to bed, brother. Shane for the teen. Message retracted, unfortunately. Thanks for being here, Shane. Who else we got here? Sean's Retro Arcade. I don't understand the actual question. Maybe I don't either. I don't know. MSU Rich. Good evening, everyone. Hey, MSU Rich. Stock Jock. Yeah, he agrees. Why hasn't AtGames made a 4KP replicated pinball? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Nooner's here. Who else we got? Danny Johnson. Good evening, Game Genie. Waiting patiently for my Addams Family 4K. Where are you located to? Are you in Canada or are you in the US? If you're in Canada, we got a little bit longer of a wait, unfortunately. Biggie, waitings for my Addams Family too. Tim York says the same thing. Wagner's Tech Talk is here. He says my audio is good. Wagner says replicating the actual artwork would require licensing from the original pinball developer. Few would go for that. It takes a long time to get approval for the artwork. I agree with that. Conti's here. Conti, good to see you, brother. Dr. Z says AtGames has never been about replicating since the Legends line came out. If they go back to replicating, they'll have to go back to their crappy Atari console replicas. Oh, that's not very nice. Jim B says, need to break out that Flow B. Adam Calb's here. Nice to see you, Adam. All right, I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Who else we got here? Danny Johnson, you're in Florida. You're in luck. Hopefully, if you ordered early, you should get it relatively soon. And believe it or not, guys, I think that's record time. We got through all the people that are here in 11 minutes, so that's pretty awesome. All right, so let's get started with the main point of the show. So this is going to be old school tonight. I'm not using Restream. I still can bring up stuff on the screen, so we can still do that. So give me a minute. It's been a while since I've used this. Hey, Dragop, what's up? Cup of coffee in the big time. So, first off, let's talk about what AtGames have released. The first one out of the gate when we learned about Zen Studios was the Addams Family Pinball. So let me just bring this up just 1 second. Should have had this stuff ready, but it's been a hell of a day, guys. Hell of a day. Loudest keyboard in the world. I do it all for you guys. So let's take a look at the AtGames store. Boom, there it is. Look how fancy I am. It's just like one of my videos. So let's take a look at the Addams Family Legends 4KP Addams Family Standard Edition Pinball. So this is the first one we saw. It's gone through some revisions since being at the Chicago Pinball Expo. Good looking machine, but the thing that caught me off guard when I first saw it, of course, was the fact that this is not replicating the art from the original Addams Family table. And I just thought to myself, man, what a missed opportunity. But I was lucky enough, I got a chance to talk to PK. I talked to him a little bit about it, and I was like, just wondering why, when you have the opportunity to do this, you didn't use the original table art, and instead you use the new stuff that Zen produced in the last little while. And PK was pretty outright about this. He said the problem with some IP holders and licensors is the fact that they actually change their IPs as time goes on. So what was appropriate when the movie first came out isn't what the brand holder wants the IP to look like now. They've updated their graphics that they want to use. They have new license artwork. They want the way they want everything to look. And because of that, the only way that this could get signed off is if they went in this direction. So that makes sense. It's a lot like Arcade 1-Up with Frogger and also My Arcade with Frogger. If you take a look at those products, you'll notice it looks nothing like the original arcade. A couple people mentioned this in the chat already earlier, and that's because the original artwork is actually owned by Sega. Konami refuses to either deal with Sega or work with Sega, or they don't think it looks nice, so they've updated the artwork, and they have tied it. This is the artwork for Frogger going forward. To our dismay, because we don't get the proper artwork on a Frogger cab. And, I miss my Frogger cab, but well, the artwork was one of the problems. Sega owns the rights. We never got it. So that's why Addams Family looks like it looks. But, I understood that. I said, well, if you can't get the rights, you can't get the rights. But one thing is, this is still a pretty good-looking table. I mean, this is pretty much the best-looking product AtGames had released from their product line to date, and it has a huge IP. So we were all pretty excited about that, and we knew this was one. So we were all patiently waiting for the rest of them to come out. And then, of course, everybody started to get excited, started to think about what other titles they could come out with. So there was a list released the other day, but I want to go away from the list. I'm going to go back on screen here now, kind of catch up with you guys there. Addams Family is an H. Yeah, I love the way it looks too, Biggie. So Addams Family was the first, but then they started releasing this artwork and showing like other games, and we saw artwork for Star Trek The Next Generation, Twilight Zone. People started to get excited. What about an Indiana Jones table? And imagine if they recreate the original Indiana Jones table for AtGames. Like, that would be a great one. Even some of the Zen originals we started getting excited about. What about Back to the Future? What about Jaws? What about Jurassic Park? There were so many opportunities, and everybody got really super excited. So we knew AtGames were going to be coming out with like 15 different variations of this. We just didn't know what they were going to be or what they were going to look like. So we waited, I think it was like about 2 months after the initial pre-order came out, and we saw our next releases from AtGames in the 4KP line. So let's go over those now. My wife, it's surefire. If I'm going to stream or if I'm making a video, she puts the dogs out, and they're on the patio there behind me barking like crazy. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear it like crazy, and it's driving me nuts. Jason, Star Wars covered with Ray and Finn art confirmed. So I'm going to bring this back up here now. Also, huge thank you again to Console Kits for recommending the Stream Deck to me. If you're doing stuff through OBS, I mean, this is a must. Like, it makes everything so easy. So the next one was kind of interesting. I don't think it was what anybody expected. Now, I'm going to pull up the video. I've got my desktop audio turned off. Let's take a look at the actual release video here. I thought this was pretty cool from AtGames. Then I actually put it full screen here. So not a title I think anybody had on their wish list right away, but I do got to give AtGames a bunch of credit here. I mean, this video looks incredible for Dinosaur Dynasty, and the machine does look pretty good too. I mean, you look at the artwork, it's pretty cool. They're going to have all the Natural History Museum games, plus the new ones that are going to be coming out. There's the theme. I don't love the topper, but I do love, like, the grill covers, and I do love the artwork. That topper, topper's a problem. Custom speaker grills. I will be interested to see how people take it. I know a lot of feedback online. People were like, hey, that's an awesome Jurassic Park table, just has the wrong logo on it. So I don't know how I feel about this. This is definitely not one for me, but of course this is an IP that AtGames is relatively proud of. They're happy with it. They're happy with their relationship with Magic Pixel. They want to show it off. So yeah, we're getting a Dinosaur Dynasty AtGames Legends 4KP. So what I would like to know, I know a lot of people have the Addams Family 4KP pre-ordering already, because I mean that was first out of the gate. But has anybody here in the chat actually ordered a Dinosaur Dynasty AtGames Legends 4KP? I'm going to go, nope, I don't want that one. Put a 1 in the chat if anybody out here, or just let us know, put a signal out there. Has anybody out there ordered a Dinosaur Dynasty Legends 4KP? I'm waiting for you. Should say hatched on. Good comment, Jason Mucha. Yeah, good point, Tim York. When they drop at the big box stores, kids will eat up that SKU. That's a possibility. I'm going to be honest. We'll talk about this later, but I don't understand mass media marketing. I think I have a good pulse for what the community wants. Like, I think we all have pretty similar tastes. So this kind of caught me off guard. I was like, I don't know if that's a needle mover. I mean, it does look cool, but I don't know if this cab necessarily is aimed at us. Yeah, I would love to see a Gottlieb table. We'll talk about that later, because I mean, there's all kinds of options like Haunted House, Black Hole, Class of 1812. So they can do a bunch of cool stuff with the Gottlieb machines as well. But I think they're hesitant. We'll talk about that later. Not much love for Dinosaur Dynasty here. No, I don't think so. I know AtGames, when they were looking at this, from their own store's data, these tables were really well received, very popular purchases. But there's a difference between, yeah, I'm going to drop like, $30 on this table pack, and the table pack's awesome, but do I want a themed machine in my house? So I don't know if this one is necessarily aimed at a target of the hardcore consumers. This will all make sense on my thumbnail when we go through this, right? So let me just pull this down from the screen. Then we got another option, which again was a little bit of kind of a surprise. No one really saw coming, but this was the first actual FX Legends 4K. So the first Zen Pinball's original 4K title, and it was Snoopy. And the one thing I will say, it was a title I didn't anticipate. I don't think it was high on that list. We all remember the list Wagner put out there for the hardcore community that watches Wagner. I don't know where this one would have placed, but I can't imagine it was near the top. But they're bringing out a Snoopy's table, which, again, they're going for that family-friendly environment with their upper echelon table. And I gotta say again, much like Dinosaur Dynasty and much like Addams Family, it does look really good. I really like the topper, which, let's see if we can get a good picture of it here. Let's take a look at the video. This wasn't accessible when I did my original video on this release. So let's take a look at the Snoopy Pinball release video. I'm going to put this full screen. The theme is one that's interesting. Do kids nowadays know Snoopy? I would argue yes. It's probably not as popular as back in the 80s and before then, but definitely a marketable title, popular with kids. It's a family-friendly, mainstream title that they could go. And what I really like about the machine itself, I know they're playing Snoopy Pinball, but I want to get a look at the machine here, guys. There it is. The machine itself is actually pretty gorgeous. I mean, that yellow looks great. The topper looks really cool. I love that it's edged out. So another really good looking machine from Zen Studios and AtGames. And guys, it's a popular brand. This is an A+ brand, where Dinosaur Dynasty is kind of an unknown quantity. I mean, honestly, I'll go back to this. When they announced the partnership with the Natural History Museum, I had no idea what this was or why this made sense, but they ended up being great tables. So this one, while Dinosaur Dynasty probably isn't an A+ release, Snoopy at least has mainstream appeal. This is something retailers will be interested in their stores, but do we as a community have interest in it? I did see people on my announcement say, that's a cool looking table, my kids will love it. So I want to ask you guys now here in this chat, and the game is also fun, the FX game is also fun too. I want to ask you guys here in the chat, is anybody from our community ordering a Snoopy table? Did anybody put the cash down and pre-order the Snoopy Legends FX Legends 4K? Give me some kind of smoke signal sign in the chat. It ranked 28 out of 36, but makes sense to release. Great looking cab, fun table too. Agreed, Wagner. Jason, I gotta try to bring up your comment here so I can see what you're saying. It's a little bit complicated. I almost need a third screen for doing this with OBS. Peanuts looks good, but I have zero interest in that table. I keep calling it Snoopy, but it is Peanuts, isn't it? This is for massive Peanuts collectors, I imagine. Yeah, pre-ordered the cab. Wife loves Snoopy, so it made it easier. Hey, good job, Jason Clayton. We got one. There was no takers on Dinosaur Dynasty, but we do have a Snoopy orderer here. Good job, man. Yeah, if your wife loves it, it's going to be awesome. Soul Red says, I'm not replacing my original ALP, but if I was, I'd get Snoopy. So a little bit more Snoopy love there. Good to see. Ray says, I ordered the Addams Family, so no. That's it. Any more Snoopy love? I like yellow too. Nooner dropping some logic here. I imagine Dr. Seuss will eventually come out as well. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. If I had to guess, I'm guessing it's probably going to be The Grinch or Cat in the Hat. That would be one of my guesses. Seuss. All right, guys. So then we go into the latest release, and this one kind of caught everybody off guard, and I mentioned why. It was kind of a weird release. Now, let me just get this up and ready for you guys. Bring this down, go back. I think we know where I'm going with this. So, ladies and gentlemen, pre-order FX Legends 4K Star Trek Collector's Edition Pinball. Now, this arguably, right up there with Addams Family, is probably one of the biggest names and biggest licenses, the biggest IPs AtGames have pulled off throughout this process. And we were all salivating at the idea of a Legends pinball based on Star Trek. I would have to go back and ask Wagner his survey results if he's still here. But one of the tables we did talk about was Star Trek The Next Generation, and I would love to know where in the community it actually landed as one of the tables people wanted. But when they announced Star Trek, I watched the entrance video and I was like, what is this? It kind of completely caught me off guard. So let me go and see if, I don't think they have the video uploaded, so I'll have to go take a look for that. Did they make a video for Star Trek? Yeah, they absolutely did. Where is it? All right, just give me a second here, guys. I'm going to find this video for you. Open widget. You're good connection. Why do you keep fooling around with me here? Just 1 second, guys. Maybe the video's down for AtGames Star Trek. If not, I can pull up my video with the information. Oh, here we go. All right, I found it. Good. Now we just got to get through the ad. Professional show I'm running here now. So here's the video for Star Trek, and when this played up, I was like, oh my god, it's Star Trek. And I immediately expected the Next Generation, because that's a Zen table we knew. And then all of a sudden, the Kelvin stuff pulled up, and I was like, oh my god, did they put the wrong artwork with the game? Did they get the wrong licensing for the wrong artwork? And then this, Deep Space Nine video popped up, and I was like, what is going on here? So Star Trek Pinball, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? But another problem with this is when this art and ad originally came out, they actually had the wrong table in the playfield itself. They actually had the stern table in the playfield, so it created a bunch of confusion. People were like, is this for Next Generation? Did AtGames also, or Zen, get the rights to make stern tables? So there was a bunch of confusion going with it. And a lot of that is because earlier in the day, there was a Pinball Bites episode where they kind of announced that there was a new Star Trek trilogy coming from Zen Studios, all based on original tables. But if you didn't see that, you would have no clue what the hell this was about. So it was really confusing at first, and I had no idea what was going on. Originally, I thought, one, they got the wrong Star Trek artwork to go with Next Generation. And then two, everybody thought they had stern, but it was actually for brand new tables. So I know there was a lot of feedback in the community. There was a lot of people from our audience, which I would consider to be, that niche hardcore audience, that were just like, oh man, AtGames blew it. They should have done Star Trek The Next Generation. But I don't know. I don't know what's more marketable to the mainstream. You're dealing with license holders here. So let me get out of this video. I'll bring it up again so you guys can all see it. So I want to go back and actually show this here. So here we've got the AtGames eStore pre-order Legends FX 4K Star Wars Collector's Edition. Take a look at some of the images here. And as you can see, I mean, this is obviously from the new movies, all new artwork. Is this the most marketable thing for Star Trek? I have no idea. Like, are they going to continue making movies in this trilogy? I know there was a Quentin Tarantino discussed fourth movie, but I thought that was all pretty much done and dead. I'm not the biggest Trekkie, so I have no idea where we are with the life cycle of the Kelvin trilogy. What's that on the side here anyways? I got to get a closer look at this. Let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, that's Chris Pine. So it is all... It is all Star Trek the Next, I was going to say Next Generation. It is all Star Trek the Kelvin trilogy, and it's based on this new line of tables. So a couple thoughts on why they did this. One is, of course, this is the new set of tables or games that Zen Studios is coming out with. So obviously, if Zen Studios and AtGames are going to work on a Star Trek project, obviously Zen Studios are going to want to promote their most recent tables, their original tables, not so much the Bally Williams Star Trek The Next Generation, right? And then number two, it all has to do with the actual license holder, IP holder, which is CBS Studios. So, of course, the negotiations with CBS Studios on what they're going to work with, more than likely CBS is going to be like, we want to push the most recent or most mainstream version. And is this Kelvin trilogy it? I have no idea. Do they plan on continuing making more movies? I don't know. I have no frame of reference. But this is the art they went with. Now, they did hear the feedback from the community because there was a lot of people that were like, I was really hoping for Star Trek The Next Generation. There is that market out there of people that want original tables recreated or replicated, and they want that nostalgia factor too with this awesome AtGames 4K pinball machine. And right now, none of the releases really hit you with that nostalgia factor. Great big IPs, awesome IPs, but us in the space, I mean, we've always wanted that nostalgia factor. That's why Arcade 1-Up made so much sense. Even though their pinball machines weren't as good as the Legends Pinball, they had the right IPs, which through Zen, and they also had that replication for the Attack from Mars tables. So a lot of us in this community wanted that, but it's Star Trek. A lot of people don't give a shit. They just want Star Trek. I think B. Kong was like, love Star Trek. I'm probably going to get this. So now I'm going to move it to you guys. Nope. There we go. Let me know. The new Star Trek is not Star Trek. I know there's some people that 100% feel that way. So what I want you to do a show of hands or put some kind of, one day this cabinet, nostalgic to kids growing up today, mind blown. I know Wagner, but we're selfish. We're selfish. We're entitled. We want it to be nostalgic to us. We want it to be what we want. Yes, Scott B. Yeah, the Star Trek Next Generation is coming out, and they're going to gift it, so you get a free 4th game when you buy this table. So let me know here in the comments, did anybody pre-order the FX Legends 4K Star Trek Edition? Anybody throw down your money? Is this the version of the Legends 4K that you're going to be getting? Let me know in the chat while I take a sip of coffee and try not to choke from all the sickness that I've been going through. Well, we're all hoping for Star Wars. We're all hoping for Marvel. I mean, those were the A-plus IPs that really pushed the arcade one-up pinball along. We'll talk about that later, too, because it's funny. As much as I want a specific thing, the other thing probably outsold it. Dr. Z dropping some knowledge. It's hard to pre-order any of these without knowing what's next. I ordered Addams Family because of the savings. I don't think I would buy these variants without knowing them all. Good point. Dragot says no. TNG Cab, AtGames is watching. This is like giving Indiana Jones and finding out it's Dial of Destiny. Heck no. Bob Oif says no. People in the market for a digital pinball machine would also want a Star Trek one, wouldn't want one using the latest movie versions. Chris Zeke also dropping some knowledge. Give me more of these Star Trek movies instead of the horrible new Star Wars movie with Rey that they are going to give us next. We don't know that, guys. We don't know that. Maybe it'll be Mandalorian. It would be crazy. Ezekiel dropping the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Ezekiel. WrestleMania money, Mike. Oh, Ezekiel, you're putting pressure on me now. Cargo Bay says, weird one to lead with. Even OG Sirius would make more sense, but not doing TNG out of the gate is weird. So, did anybody, thank you very much, Ezekiel, by the way, if I didn't say it earlier, did anybody here purchase the Star Trek Legends 4KP? And if you didn't, was it because you don't like the IP and artwork, the way that it's done? Or was it because you already had another one ordered like Addams Family? Somebody, give me some feedback here. Come on, let's get connected. Well, Cargo Bay, we're going to get into that because I got a theory on that. I got a big theory. Science Spirits, kudos to AtGames for giving us all these choices for us to complain about, though. At least they're trying. I agree. I mean, this is, I said this, I was on Biggie D's show last night, and I might have said this in another show, too. I mean, it's nice that we have these options to, dissect and take a look at and decide whether or not we want. I mean, before AtGames was one and done. This is the Legends Pinball, like it or lump it. And now we've got A-plus IPs, the best virtual pinball developer in the market, Zen Studios, as well as all the other virtual pinball developers, pretty much all working under one roof. I mean, AtGames is eating well in the digital pinball space right now, but we can still talk about what we like. I personally think all these machines look great. I think they're all really good IPs. A little concerned about Dinosaur Dynasty. The kids might love it. Again, once they see it, but I don't think the IP is going to draw them in. But is any of these exactly what I would want? Probably not. All right, did anybody order one? Spaceballs Pinball would be great. Elvira would be day one. Well, yeah, of course, Elvira would be day one for me as well. John Jay says, if it was TNG, I would have pre-ordered day one. There you go. If it had the Stern game on it, I would have bought Star Trek. I thought that's what it is. A lot of people did, Conti, because when they did the original art, they showed the table, the actual stern table, displayed on the playfield, and of course that was a mistake because it was this brand new Zen Studios original. I think Strange New Worlds would have been a better lead table or even lower decks. Yeah, a lot of different audience here. Nicholas DiOrio, here we go, brother. So, anyways, where's this comment coming up? Show me boo. What about an Indiana Jones? They could, and that would make me buy one, 100%. I started ALP. But bought a big boy V pin, almost as much as a real pin, but we enjoy the hell out of it. A lot of people did those. They went and bought one of those massive, super expensive V pins. I know a Canadian YouTuber by the name of CJR bought one. It's Godzilla themed, looks really cool. Funhouse is a possibility. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that. Anyways, so last look here, guys. Here it is. Let me take this down. AtGames Pre-order FX Legends 4K Star Trek Collector's Edition Pinball. Whoa, still on screen. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find something here. Hopefully none of my Twitter smut showed up. Anyways, the big thing we're all talking about now, this is the reason why I went into Twitter. Let me just show you guys. I think you guys already know what I'm going to show. But AtGames put this out November 30th, so last Thursday. A new and exciting collector's edition CEP 4K machine will be revealed soon. Can you guess what it is? So it looks like we're going to get the 5th variant of the AtGames Legends 4K. I was hoping it was today, but it might actually be in the next couple of days. And this is where the point where I'm to right now, and I'm playing the guessing game. A lot of people are playing the guessing game after seeing this video, and I've seen a bunch of things on the net, on the Facebook pages, on these shows that we do with each other about what it's possibly going to be. And that's where this gets interesting. I want to ask you guys, what do you think the next AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP design is going to be? If you take a look at the topper, and this might just be a boilerplate, this might just be Dinosaur Dynasty blacked out with the artwork over it, this might not be the table itself, but it does look to have that generic Dinosaur Dynasty up and over plate, the same one they used. So I'm wondering. Jason says Attack from Mars colors. I noticed that as well. I would love to see Attack from Mars. What else you got, guys? Throw up your guesses in the chat. I want to see what you got to say. Nicholas DiOrio with a good point. Oh, wait, they said Collector's Edition. That's confirmed Zen. Dinosaur Dynasty is listed as a Standard Edition. Goofy Foot. Well, I don't like the topper. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who they're working with those toppers on. Maybe it's Zen. Ray with a great comment. King Kong Godzilla. Oh man, that would be another A+ title. Good timing too. Godzilla -1 just came out. They just showed the trailer for Godzilla X Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong 2, and of course we've also got that Monarch Legacy show right now on Apple Plus. So I mean, Godzilla vs. Kong would be a good choice as well. Bill says, I think they announced Godzilla vs. Kong table pack coming. I wonder if that will be one of the theme machines. Well, that's what we're all thinking. Yeah, Cargo Bay, probably not Terminator 2. I don't think that one's going to be a possibility unless Zen comes out of nowhere and says, we're doing a Terminator 2 table. Kevin Clausen, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Man, I would love a Ghostbusters table. Medieval Madness, Dan Z says. Good choice. Would probably, Satan Spirits with the comment of the night, would probably pull the trigger on anything Godzilla unless it's 1998. Well, let me tell you, Satan Spirits, a lot of people felt that way when they saw the Star Trek art, because out of all the Star Trek shows, that's the one they don't like. So to them, they felt like this Star Trek was Matthew Broderick Godzilla. Hey, what's happening, Mystery Encoder? Good to see you, man. We're talking AtGames Pinball Legends 4KP, brother. And Jason, you got what I want too. I'm just waiting for the comments to catch up here so I can bring it up on screen. Oh, yeah, Joe. Awesome comment. Awesome comment. What do you mean you bought too many arcade one-ups? What'd you buy? Well, I know Terminator 2 was on sale. You would have been proud of me. In my sale video earlier, I told people to go out and get the Terminator 2 on sale since the Retro Shooter mod was out. I was telling people to mod it. You would have been proud of me. Let me just see. My chat's not moving as quick as I'd like, but Chris makes a good point. It's Christmas season. It'll be Dr. Seuss for that reason. Interesting. Mystery Encoder, yeah, I'll talk about the 4KP when I actually get mine. My God, if it's South Park, I think that's gonna be a slam dunk. Even if it's original art, nobody's gonna complain about South Park. They're gonna be like, "Holy shit, AtGames got South Park." So that's where they're gonna go with that. Bill's Retro Gaming. Oh, if Zen did a Doctor Who table and then AtGames did that as the theme, I'd have no choice but to buy it. Bill does love Doctor Who. That's true. There we go. Never mind the Retro Shooter mod. Mystery Encoder by Xmas. There will be a soft mod out for T2. Get your hands on that $3.99 T2 cab. Anyways, so now's the point in the conversation where maybe I break a couple hearts. And let's talk about what AtGames are seemingly doing here. I think AtGames is taking a look at this relationship with Zen Studios, with these major IPs, and with this new, really industry-leading product. I know I'm going to be shit on for saying that, but let's, call a spade here. I mean, really, they weren't the first out of the gate when it came to digital pinball, but they were certainly the best with everything you could do with it at a comparable price point. Now they're releasing a 4K product, and while it is only 60 frames per second, not 120 like people are saying it must be a must, they're the first company out of the gate with a retail level 4K digital pinball machine that can also be modded right out of the gate. You can just plug a PC into it. So this is a new product, new space, a lot of crazy things happening here. So this is an industry-leading product, the first one out of the gate with it on the retail space. Yes, there's people out there with, build your own cabs and stuff like that. Other companies, I'm sure that there's a million, but we're talking about an actual retail product. So they're looking at the roadmap of what makes Zen successful, and they're looking at the roadmap of what made Arcade 1-Up successful with their pinballs from a retail perspective. And if you take a look at what Arcade 1-Up did, and I can't back this data up, but from what I understand, honestly, their Marvel and Star Wars tables, even though they weren't based on real tables, and that's what the community is saying we want, their Marvel and Star Wars tables outsold the Attack from Mars like 2-1. Like here in Canada, like it's really hard to get your hands on one of those tables now, but Attack from Mars is probably the easiest at retail. Even though it was my favorite, I thought that was the best one they released. I know not everybody feels that way, but with the original artwork, how it fit in with the actual arcade replications they were making, I thought it made the most sense. But still, those killer IPs, that's what, got it into people's homes. People went out and they got the Zen original tables for Star Wars. They got the Zen original tables for Marvel. That's what they went with. So I think AtGames is taking a look at the sales data from that, taking some advice from Zen, and taking a look at what Arcade 1-Up does well in order to get into retail. And the focus isn't necessarily on working with us, the niche hardcore audience, so much as they feel they've got an interesting, brand new product that's going to be a family product people can enjoy, high end, and they're trying to kind of replicate that level of success. They're coming out with A+ titles, and they're focusing more on a mainstream approach. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to do some cool niche stuff for us too, for our hardcore market. I'm still hoping, but it seems like the focus right now is not so much just selling these through the AtGames store. It's eventually making it to retail. It's eventually making it out to maybe even consumer places. And the way they see a path forward with doing that is appealing to a mainstream market. That's where I think they're going with this. From everything that I'm looking at, that's what they're doing. They're not possibly going to come out with, I saw someone mentioned earlier they could do a, was it Safecracker or Funhouse? Yeah, it's possible, but again, it goes back to that arcade one-up theory. How many retailers know what Funhouse is? How many Walmart VPs or, Amazon VPs or whoever they're trying to work with know what Funhouse is? How many Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy retailers know what Star Trek is? So, there you go. So that's my theory. MG, why are you leaving, man? What did I do? Did I do something wrong, MG? You can tell me. Christmas story. Oh, I would love a Christmas story pin. Dinosaur Dynasty will make it to Ollie's? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff will go, because I'm telling you right now, I don't understand that stuff. Like, I know what I think we wanted. I've always, shit on Arcade 1-Up when they do this mainstream stuff, and I'm like, I don't get it. But I don't know. Is it the right call? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I want to ask you guys, what do you think of it? So far, we've definitely seen that these tables are aimed at a mainstream audience while they're still trying to keep us engaged, and they want us to be engaged. The focus is more, doing this big global sale. Do you think that's the right call? Do you think that'll be a successful strategy for AtGames? Or do you think that they need to cater more to the niche market, the hardcore market, and what we want? Yeah, Funhouse and Safecracker are coming to the ALP 4KP, so at least we got that. Let me know, guys. You hit me up. Tell me what you think. Yeah, console kits. There's holes in my theory, but I think what they're going on isn't so much the IP of Dinosaur Dynasty. It's the fact they're selling dinosaurs. They're like, kids love dinosaurs. So I might be wrong on that. I need feedback. Picked up Blitz at Ollie's for $2.99. Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. It was even more of a no-brainer last year when they first came out and they were selling for like $200. So we'll see. So, anyways, that's my theory on that. I think right now AtGames is focusing on doing products that more so fit the mainstream. They think they've got a killer IP, not a killer IP, but a killer product here. They think that they can do mass market appeal with it, working with Zen, working with the right IPs. This is their path forward. So, will it work? I don't know. I'm not really hearing. See, Mystery Incorporated knows kids love dinosaurs. And South Park, if it's South Park, I mean, everybody loves South Park. Even us staunch, ratchety people or crotchety people here in the home arcade market that are like, no, I want real tables and real tables only. There you go. There's a great line you have to walk to give the features the serious players want while not completely pricing out those who want to try. It's why having major IPs is so important. Langs gets it. Retailers didn't know what a Time Crisis or Ridge Racer was either. Namco holds some weight, and negotiations go on behind the scene. 100%. I mean, if you go back to the creation of Arcade 1-Up, it was created because, Walmart wanted a Pac-Man cab. Yeah, there you go. Bobby ALU dropping a fun point, too. This is what I wonder about as well with this theory, and I don't know if this makes sense or not. Can't imagine anyone is buying their kid a $1,500 V-Pin. So, here's the thing. Like, they're coming out with this, obviously, big deal, first 4K virtual pinball machine in the retail space, really, like, major retail space. But at the same time, I know the way that it's being positioned. You have your ALP, which they're going to continue to make, which is going to be the standard, which is going to be the lower cost alternative. And then this is going to be the elite. So the ALP is going to be considered, like your Volkswagen, while the ALP 4KP is going to be considered the Audi. And I don't know how that market works, like up and down, but you would assume that your Volkswagen will be sold to the mass market and your Audi would be sold to the hardcore niche collectors, because they're the one that are going to drop that kind of big dollars. So, like, I see this and I don't know sometimes. I don't know if it's the right strategy or not. And again, I don't know because I don't understand this. I don't understand mass marketing. Like, to me, it makes no sense. I'm just like, wouldn't you just want to make good products that your audience wants? But, I talk to Nostalgia, and Nostalgia tells me, well, you're not going to grow that way. And if your company's not growing, it's dying. And maybe that's 100%. So I don't know. I'm hoping that this is the start, but we will get one or two bones thrown in there. I'm hoping that future versions come out. And like Jason Little Alien said, like, one of the tables they have listed is in fact the Twilight Zone. And I would love, love, love to see a recreation of the original Twilight Zone pinball table if they could do that. Hell, I want another Attack from Mars. I sold my arcade one up, but if they came out with an AtGames Legends Pinball 4KP Attack from Mars, and it was a recreation or a replication of the original pinball machine, I'd be pretty interested in that. Now, I do have to do a disclaimer. It's a little hard for me to really talk about that because I'm in Canada, and from what I understand, the only ALP 4KP we're going to get access to is Adam's family. So really, like, I don't have a dog in the race because it's already gone. So I can't give personal opinions, but I can only talk about what's cool and try to get feedback from you guys. What do I know? I don't know shit. Legs, the audience doesn't know what it wants till you tell them. No, that's not how it works. You guys got to decide for yourself. You got to watch a bunch of people and make up your own minds. Some of us live in a pinball ghost town. I'm not going to throw several K at a bigger V pin. I jumped at the $1,500 price point. Yeah, Tim, I'm in a very similar situation. I also live in a pinball ghost town. There's nothing here. I was so excited when we were getting V-Pin for the first time. Arcade went up, AtGames, all of it was super exciting. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Jason, that's an interesting comment. I'm going to see if I can bring it up here. Kids get older. You stuck with the art you don't want. LOL. Just get all the tables the kiddo wants. That's his opinion. Maybe he's right. I don't know. So, anyways, guys, I'm not going to say what AtGames is doing is wrong because I don't know. I don't know if it's wrong. I think what they're trying to do is very different from what they have previously done. I think they're trying to really reach out to a mainstream audience, bring more people in, and get people interested in what they feel they're very confident is a great product that people are going to be interested in. So from us in the staunch audience, it's very easy for us to criticize because we want them to do something that they don't typically do, that they're, wading into waters they don't normally do with this product line, which is deal with these high-end IPs and also the opportunity to recreate these tables. But they're working with Zen. They're working together. I'm sure Zen wants to showcase their original tables. So we'll see where it goes. Are they going to do a Wrath of the Elder Gods table? Probably not. But here's the thing. Something like South Park. South Park is one that treads the line everybody would enjoy. Back to the Future doesn't need to be an original table because it doesn't need to be a pinball recreation because it's an original table, but it's an IP that not only has mainstream appeal, but also has appeal in the hardcore audience as well. Same with Jurassic Park. That's another one they could do. Star Wars, as long as they don't make it based on the sequel trilogy, I think we're okay, as long as you have some of the original art. And of course, Marvel, that could be big as well. So, there's lots of ways that they can continue to do what they're doing right now, releasing big IPs that also appease the hardcore market. There's also an opportunity to do something that is an exact replication of an original machine that I think would be very interesting. Now, I'm almost out of time. I know that. I ran a little long tonight. I started a little slow. The big one for the original tables that I want to see them do, and I'm hoping happens, is we just got the release of Pinball M. So I know there's a lot of really crazy like horror collectors out there. I hope I said that right. We're getting Farfalla next. I hope not, Dr. Z. Magic Pixel can keep Farfalla. Sandman, that's an excellent question. I don't know. I have no idea, but I think AtGames are taking a big swing. So that's maybe why they're going out and doing the right things, or trying to do the right things. Going out and getting big IPs like Addams Family, Snoopy, trying to get the kids market. I don't know how this is going to be. Like, I don't know if it's going to sell like crazy. I don't know if they've got retailer support. The retailers are going to buy it from them at certain levels. And I don't know if this could potentially also become something that's a consumer product that also goes out into retail, not retail spaces, but consumer spaces, something like a ticket machine at like, 7-Eleven or something like that. I have no idea how it's going to sell, but I can tell you AtGames is pretty confident about it. They're getting some good feedback from the retailers, so I don't know. Yeah, Nooner, I want Back to the Future too. I think Back to the Future is one of those, like South Park, that's a slam dunk title. They would do very well to do a Back to the Future. Not E.T. You can keep E.T. No one wants E.T. But I do think there's a market for Pinball M. And maybe I'm just really excited now, being a big horror movie guy, about Pinball M. Something like a Chucky's Killer Pinball Table. Really, I want a thing more than anything else. And future releases, as a big horror guy, I definitely know that if they release some kind of skin for a horror movie, especially one I really love, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chopping Mall, not Changeling. I was going to say Changeling, but it's actually, oh God, what's it called? Basket Case 3. I can't believe they made 3 of those. The Burning. I'm just joking now, but those really high-end horror IPs like Evil Dead, stuff like that. If they can make something like that, I know I would proudly display that in my home arcade, and I would probably choose that over a real table recreation as well. So it's one of those things. Yeah, Nooner, Pinball M, Evil Dead. Ray, I'm just waiting for your comment to come up here so I can bring it up. Let me see if I can get to it here. Clear. I just want all the Williams Bally pinball games. Yeah, I hope they at least do some. I hope they try to do some table recreations. I think that there's some mainstream appeal with doing some. Like Twilight Zone, I think still has some mainstream appeal. I think people would know it. I think that could do well. And you got to remember, for your own AtGames store itself, your own designated store, I mean, your direct-to-consumer, I mean, that's where your hardcores are going to shop. So there's an opportunity there. Maybe it's not one of your retail releases, but of doing some kind of real table recreation direct-to-consumer. That would be pretty cool, too. I know, Calvin, I saw it, Halloween. I would love a Halloween table. I still have my heart set and get the spooky one, even though it's super stupid expensive and apparently breaks really easy. But yeah, Chainsaw Massacre would be another one. Hellraiser. My daughter is just learning about horror movies now, and like I got a huge collection and stuff like that, but they talk about them at school, the kids do. So she was talking about the other day, and she said, that guy with the pins in his face. So I'm interested. I think more than anything else, I'm a little bit proud of AtGames. Like what they're doing here, like going out, sniping up Zen Studios, going getting these AAA titles. This is good stuff. It's mainstream. It's not necessarily stuff that I'm super interested in, like all these titles. But you got to admit, they look good. They're going to have mainstream appeal. They're going to have people talking. And here we are. We're talking about it. Usually AtGames comes out with a product and we're like, oh man, it's awesome. You do a bunch of mod stuff and then we're done. But this is the first time they've really gone out and done something like this. And it's really cool to talk about. I do have a Bubba Hotep poster up in my arcade. You know that, right, Nooner? Pinhead Pinball has a nice ring to it. I can't disagree. And then you do have people like Andy, I agree with you. You want original tables like Gorgar, Black Knight. Oh man, Zen did have Spooky on one time. Like, I would shit if Zen worked with Spooky and did a recreation of that Halloween pinball table in Zen Studios. I would be such a happy dude. Again, another one is I've been really trying to convince Zen Studios, I don't know if it's even possible, last couple Halloweens, to do an Elvira Scared Stiff or Elvira the Party Monsters Zen pinball table. Can you imagine an Elvira? And now that it's Pinball M, like, it makes perfect sense. An Elvira Williams recreation through AtGames. I'd be so happy. So happy. Sand Spirit's awesome. I've seen it come up in my selections as I'm going through Amazon Prime all the time. It's on my to watch list when I finally get some time. And there's a good one. Pumpkinhead Pinball from Dr. Z. Very good choice. Anyways, I'd like to wrap this conversation up with a nice bow, but I don't know if I can. I think the main message I'm trying to tell you is, for those of you that are really disappointed that AtGames aren't doing real recreations, or you feel that they're missing the mark on some of the stuff they're coming out with, the good thing is, be patient. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of these different releases, so if you don't like what's already out, we've only seen 4 tables so far. There's going to be something like 11 to 16 more. There's going to be something else later on down the line that maybe will be something you like. But I do want to warn that I think, as we've seen early, this relationship between Zen and AtGames is leaning more towards trying to create more of a mainstream product. So as we want like some wild and wacky stuff like a Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, that might not fit the bill. We may be into territory like Arcade 1-Up, where they have to sell these products to retailers, so the focus is more on like a South Park. The focus is more on like a Star Trek and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and I'm interested to see what the next announcement is and what other releases are coming out, and hopefully it's something good. Of course, I'm here in Canada. My options are limited. I'm getting the Addams Family. But for you guys, I'm excited to see if there's something else cool that's out there. And Tim York, like you said just then, great comment. The future looks bright for this. We got a bunch of options. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they sell well. And hopefully AtGame's strategy goes really well and we get more cool shit from them. Patient, have you met the community? No, I know, Nooner. I mean, Science Spirits, I know. Sometimes we aren't so patient. Anyways, guys, Matt Scott says, just wait. I'm going to hold you to that, Matt Scott. That's right. We said patience. I'm going to hold you to that. If you guys did Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, South Park, I think you would see a lot less people making some of the comments they're making now. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you have. Again, like Tim York said, the future looks bright. I can't wait to see what you have up in the alley. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe there's a glut of recreations coming. We'll wait and see. Anyways, LOL, you never know. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. This has been a fun discussion. Hopefully, I made it more clear or muddy for you on what's going on with the AtGames Legends 4KP, the way they look, and the way the branding's done. And if not, feel free to hit me up in the comments, and I'll try to explain it better, or you can tell me why I'm wrong. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out here tonight. Let's all wait and be patient to see what the next release from AtGames is in the 4KP line. And it's great that we do have all these announcements. It's been a while since we did have a lot of announcements and some intrigue in the home arcade space. So, good stuff. Anyways, night everybody. I'll see you sometime later this week. I got a bunch of review products I got to get out. So, I'm going to try to get those all to you. But hopefully I also get better too. Good night everybody.